So Tornado is a movie described as a Scottish samurai western. Let me repeat that again. A Scottish samurai western. I don't know what my expectations were when I went into this movie, but it was not this. Whether this is your first time seeing me or if you frequent the channel, feel free to subscribe down below. We're on our way to 1,000 subs. Love to have you. So Tornado is a revenge samurai flick involving a Japanese puppeteer's daughter who has a run-in with an infamous criminal gang ran by Sugar Man. Now this is a very strange film because on one hand, I don't think there's anything exceptional about it, but on the other hand, I really respect it because this is not the type of movie we get ever anymore. The movie is directed by John McLean and stars Tim Roth, Koki, Rory McCann, and Jack Lowden. This movie takes no time to get rolling. In the very opening scene of this movie, we see a girl being chased by this gang of criminals, scouting her out, trying to find her. She hides off in this countryside home. This movie takes place just before the 1800s, I believe, so it's very rural, a lot of countrywide shots. This is a real homage throwback to very, very old samurai western films. But from that opening scene, it establishes the fact that somebody wants this girl dead. We don't really know why. And how this movie chooses to tell its story is through flashbacks of this young girl and her dad. And they have a run-in with this criminal gang led by Sugar Man, played by Tim Roth. You don't know a whole lot about them, but you know somebody has stolen his gold, and he is not okay with this because he is a power force in the West, and he is going to get his gold back by any means necessary. How this movie eventually ends up playing out is a very toned-down version of Kill Bill. I don't want to get your expectations too high. But as I said, I respected this movie because this is not the type of film we get too much anymore, and it was not what I expected it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot more modernized than it is, and I don't think it's that at all, but in a good way. I actually kind of liked the end product more than what my expectations were when I went into it. This is one of those movies for me that is definitely a test of patience. It's towing a fine line of being deliberately paced and just downright slow. We hear the term nowadays a lot, slow burn. This movie is a definite slow burn. At least the first half of this. It moves at a snail's pace, again, deliberately in my opinion, based on what we get in the second half. But the fact that it is marketed as a Scottish samurai western, I somehow think works, and I think that is an accurate depiction of what this film is because it manages to blend those three pretty seamlessly at points. I don't think they're asked to do anything exceptional, but I do think the performances in this are well. You will recognize a handful of faces. As I've said, you have Tim Roth in here playing the big villain. You have his son, who's a second-hand man. You have the guy who plays the Hound from Game of Thrones. He's pretty good in this. He's kind of got a couple of comedic relief moments. It didn't fully work for me, but again, it's expected in this subgenre. And then you have the lead girl in this named Tornado, who's going to be the one extracting revenge on these criminals, played by Koki, I believe her name is, just a Japanese actress. And I think all of them pair very well. In a weird way, this movie kind of reminded me of a Wes Anderson film because more so than the subject matter of the movie itself, it's just a very stylistic, unique experience to watch. I really enjoyed the way everything comes together in this film, the way things look, the way things sound, attention to details when it comes to the props. Again, this all pairs up nicely to make you feel like you're watching a movie that came out 50 to 100 years ago and not a movie in 2025 because we just never get this type of movie. I don't know if that's a perfect comparison, but I think Wes Anderson films is the best parallel I can draw to the way this movie looks and sounds. I wouldn't call this movie comedic by any means, but it is kind of on the nose, self-aware, funny in a weird way. The way the choreography works, very like Power Ranger-y, kind of blocky at points. Again, kind of hard to describe unless you've seen it, but the fighting is oddly comedic given the serious nature of it. But unfortunately, between that action, there is a lot of meandering around in the countryside. It's a very bleak film. I wouldn't call this a very enjoyable film to watch, even if you do appreciate aspects of it, because you're just kind of watching our main girl hide and sneak around from this gang of criminals and try to pick them off eventually. Again, earlier, I used the word deliberately paced, so take that with your own leisure what that really means, because this is a movie that is very purposely slow. But I did enjoy the overarching theme of this movie, the way it kind of starts off as a tragedy, moves into a story of triumph. I did like the character evolution of our main girl, Tornado. It's definitely trying to convey some emotions and land some heart. I don't think it fully works in all of that capacity, but I did enjoy where it starts, where it finishes, even though it is fairly predictable like the majority of these films. So Tornado is not a movie I would rush out to see or anything, but I do think it is an enjoyable time if you are a fan of this very particular subgenre I'm talking about. Very old school throwback samurai western films about revenge, stories of family and triumph and grief. If you're into that sort of thing, I recommend you check out this film. I think it is creatively made. There's a ton of style here, a lot more style over substance if I'm being honest. Not everything worked for me. It was a little bit too slow for me to ever envision rewatching this, but for the one one-time watch I had with it, I thought it was a pretty good time. So if you guys have somehow heard of the movie Tornado, comment down below, let me know what you thought of it, or let me know what your favorite revenge flick is. Try not to say Kill Bill. And as always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, join me down below. Like, comment, subscribe. All of that really helps the channel. I will see you in the next video. Peace.